we are trying to see, show some cases, but the onus is on me to show some diagnostic case. And in this case, there is pancreatitis. And in this case, patient is presented with pancreatitis, and we have to find out if there is CBD stone or not. So I will quickly show to the audience that in this case, we are finding that this is the aorta, and these are the splenic vein, and around the splenic vein, I am finding perisplenic fluid. What I mean by perisplenic fluid is generally people try to work out how the pancreatic inflammation spreads. So we have done endoscopic ultrasound in a large number of pancreatitis, and in this case, I would like to say that the pancreatic inflammation spreads from pancreas anterior to pancreas, inferior to pancreas, and posterior to pancreas. And when this spreads anterior to pancreas, this spread of pancreatic fluid in acute pancreatitis is in the lesser sac. Okay. So now, how does this fluid appear into this part? Now, this is where I would like to show you these people that in this patient, there is fissuring of pancreas. What I mean by fissuring is that the pancreas is angry, pancreas is inflamed, and because of the angry and inflamed pancreas, the pancreatic fluid from in between the lobules is leaking in tracts, and you can see these tracts. These tracts are normally not seen on CT, and these are the tracts. Like for example, this particular tract is going posterior to the pancreas, and this particular tract is going anterior to the pancreas, from where these tracts are leading, like the rivers are formed in the mountains. The only thing is, not only does this fluid decide to spread into retroperitoneal spaces, it decides to go anterior to pancreas, posterior to pancreas, around the vessel. Now, while this is around the vessels, there is a rim of fluid around this vessel. I would like to probably zoom it, and I will zoom it in this case only this much, show you that the pancreatic fluid is spreading in form of a rim around the vessel, and sometimes you see this is the rim I would show, this is the rim. So this is the rim of that small amount of fluid around the vessel. This shows you that there is a possibility of splenic vein thrombosis in these cases that may come. Okay, so we have found out acute pancreatitis, splenic vein, extension to splenic vein. Now let us follow this splenic vein, and later, oh my God, see, to me it appears as if this rim fluid is probably causing some sort of thrombotic effect, and this thrombotic effect may be spreading. See here, you see this thing. I will zoom it again once more and try to show you in a zoom position what is happening in one side of the portal vein, and this side of portal vein probably, because this is why this is extending, may extend. So this patient is possibly may develop, because what you are seeing currently right now here, this is the SMV, this is the supramesenteric vein, this is the splenic vein, and this is the portal venous confluence. So I think we will call venous confluence, and this here is the portal vein. So we see fluid around the splenic vein, fluid around the splenic vein, perisplenic vein fluid, and all that. We see fluid posterior to pancreas. So posterior to pancreas, we see fluid anterior to pancreas. Now, when we see fluid anterior to pancreas, now this is an important demonstration that I want to show. Important part that I want to show is that when I see posterior to pancreas, this fluid is leaking posterior to pancreas, right? It is going posterior to pancreas, but it is not going into the adrenal gland. And if we were to see retroperitoneal anatomy, there are two things that is important: is fluid going anterior to anterior pararenal space, fluid going around pararenal space, and fluid going posterior to pararenal space. So this fluid is taking posteriorly, but this fluid is not getting into the capsule around the adrenal gland, and that would have explained a more serious connotation for pancreatitis coming on this. So the kidney is, there is no fluid around the kidney or no fluid around the capsule of kidney, but it is coming close, yes, very close now. We will see this fluid is pretty close to this. But I think I am still diverting from the aspect. See, this fluid is close to the adrenal gland, but it is not affecting any limb of the adrenal gland so far. It is, the adrenal gland is still intact. So fluid anterior to pancreas, fluid posterior to pancreas, fluid around the splenic vein, and fluid probably around the splenic artery. because this is the splenic artery, and I will again zoom it and show you that there is a rim of fluid around the splenic artery. Why is the fluid around the splenic artery formed? Because these are the cases which will form possibility of pseudoaneurysm and all that. That is why. So we are trying to judge, we are trying to predict, we are trying to predict what is going to happen in this case. Where we have found out now in this case, and this is the classical portal venous confluence that people are seeing. And into this portal venous confluence, you can see this is the left gastric vein, and this is the portal venous confluence. And in the morning, we had discussed with Dr. Wadhwa that this is the superior mesenteric vein, splenic vein forming the confluence. This is the portal vein, and this is the left gastric vein joining into the confluence point of splenic vein and superior mesenteric vein. I am not sure whether there is formation of a thrombus here or not, but to me vaguely looks that there may be incipient or there may be tendency to form thrombosis at the portal venous confluence in this case. Now coming to this point, whether this patient has got CBD obstruction, CBD stone or not, I am to look in pancreas beyond this point, and this is the place I am trying to look for whether the pancreatic duct is involved, or so whether the bile duct is involved. This is the pancreatic duct that I see. This is the pancreatic duct that I see here. This is the see this fluid. This. Okay. Now I would like to inform you. In this particular case, a very interesting feature has happened. And I would like to make a recording of this feature because I have shown you, see the ventral and dorsal pancreas. You see the left border of the superior mesenteric vein forms the boundary between the body and head of pancreas. And in this patient, you are finding that the margins along the tract of the superior mesenteric vein, which is formed with this coursing like this, in the margin of the superior mesenteric vein, there is fluid dividing almost the dorsal and ventral pancreas into two parts. You can see as if this pancreas has been divided. This is the pancreatic duct, and this is pancreatic duct going. But this pancreas is almost as if it is divided by the superior mesenteric vein as well as the portal vein. So this fluid, in a way, it might tell us that when there is pancreatic duct is spread, there is a possibility that between the dorsal and ventral pancreas, there is a plane into which the fluid can track, and tracking of that plane is a possibility. So this is what we found out. We don't normally do EUS in acute pancreatitis in some cases, but these images definitely show me that this patient, this is the portal vein, and this is the spread of the fluid around the portal vein in a line. And why this fluid has spread it into this plane? Because this is embryologically is spreading into those planes which are planes of union. Okay, so again coming back into the points of whether this is the pancreatic duct or this is the bile duct or not, because this is the bile duct, and we can trace the bile duct from here. This is the bile duct, and we try tracing the bile duct, and we find no stone into this part of the bile duct, at least up to this part from the stomach. We traced it from the stomach, and though we had decided that we will go up to 8 o'clock, but it seems that it has been a long day for all of our audience. So we will take last few minutes to demonstrate whether the patient has a stone or not, and whether this patient of acute pancreatitis has a small stone in the bulb or not. The question would automatically come from the audience if anybody is interested in asking whether if we find a stone, will we go for CT scan or not? Now these are another very, very interesting findings that we find from here once we are here, because you can see this is fluid, definite spread of fluid around the portal vein. Definitely spread of fluid around the splenic, around the mesenteric vein, and definitely spread of fluid around the see this is the splenic vein, and here is where what appeared as a thrombus to me is not a thrombus. It is in fact perisplenic or perifluid. So this is the fluid which is present around the confluence. So this is the fluid around the confluence, and this is the duct. So this is the duct, and this is the gastroduodenal artery, which is also gastroduodenal artery is partly bathing in the fluid, but not so much as you can see the confluence and the portal venous system being bathed in the fluid. So this also tells me that when it comes to vascular thrombosis, I have no idea because I have no idea of theory, but my logic says that when it comes to involvement of the venous system or thrombotic episodes or vascular episodes in the case of pancreatitis, I would believe that, and logically speaking, this splenic vein as well as the confluence should be the most common involved, because this fluid is trekking around this portal vein all the way in the hepatoduodenal ligament toward the liver hilum. I can see it going all the way toward the liver hilum, and this is how the fluid tracks in pancreatitis. So remember, the fluid tracks in pancreatitis the same way the air tracks in the retroperitoneal plane, but the only difference would be the air does not track through the pancreas. Here, this fluid has come into the retroperitoneal spaces after going through the pancreatic rivers, and they're trekking along the vein. So this is probably one of the pathways of spread of fluid along the pancreas. So again, now we'll come to, we have right now, this is the pancreas, here is the gastroduodenal artery, this is the pancreatic duct, and we are seeing this is the nice formation of superior mesenteric vein, inferior mesenteric vein, portal venous confluence, and let me see if I can demonstrate in this plane the left gastric vein also to you. No, okay. So I would like to just tell the audience the Siegel sign. So this is a vascular Siegel. This is an artery. This is going into this part, the gastroduodenal artery. This is the hepatic artery. And what you find is a pyramid shape in between the gastroduodenal artery and portal venous confluence is classically the neck of pancreas. Okay. So no, we have half an hour left. He's showing me the window, but we are finishing early. We are going to wind up in the next 5 minutes. We are going to wind up in the next. This is an unusual and different case, very, very different case from the conventional endoscopic ultrasound that this is the diagnostic ultrasound that we are doing. So I'm trying to now rotate and trying to find out if I can find by clockwise rotation the pancreatic duct, and this is the bile duct. I rotate now clockwise, and I will say this can it be the bile duct? I will apply color Doppler. Yes, it is the bile duct. I will rotate it clockwise, rotate it more clockwise, rotate it more, and rotate it more. Now here is where I have to be cautious, because in this point I am finding this is the pancreatic duct, this is the bile duct. I will enlarge it more, I will remove color, and I will now move right and left now, because is there a very small stone impacted in the pancreatic duct near the, so there is, the patient has gallstone, but does this patient have a stone in the pancreatic duct or not? In my opinion, no, not so far. Here this is no stone, and I probably now is the time when I will again high zoom this area. I think I already gone. No, I will first, before high zooming, I will increase the frequency to maximum. I will increase the frequency from low to maximum. I will increase the line density to maximum. I will apply auto support, and then I will improve the focus also, which has moved down, focus also to the highest point, and then I will high zoom it. And after high zooming it, I will adjust this, the box, adjust the size of the box. This is the size of box I have adjusted. Now I will update this box, and now I will move it more. And now this is called right zoom. And now I am trying to trace the very lower end of the common bile duct. Here it goes into the muscularis propria, and I find no stone impacted. So this is the pancreatic duct. Rotate clockwise, no stone. So this is almost, the only thing is probably now I would have preferred to do put in a little bit water, but the patient has pancreatitis. I'm not going to do that. I've seen the lower end. I want to see the upper end, and in this case, lo and behold, there are several more interesting findings which are going in along the planes, how the fluid is tracking, and the fluid has outlined the other structures also, but I will not go into that detail because that is too much. They are outlined. This is now the bile duct that I am tracing, and I am tracking the bile duct only. I will increase geometry, and the bile duct I am tracking. This is bile duct. I am tracking this is the cystic duct. Is there a stone? No stone, because I can see this is the bile duct, and I trace this bile duct all the way out. But once I trace this bile duct all the way towards the hilum, now the time this bile duct appears a little bit dilated. I am a little bit uneasy, because this not only dilated, this is a tense duct, though the diameter is only 7.26 mm. So what do? We trace this bile duct. Number one, we try to trace this bile duct all the way towards the liver hilum, though I expect no stone in the liver hilum, but yes, finish it off. I expect, so now what I did is, I pushed the scope inside, because I traced it all the way. This is the point I want to trace. And I am seeing some turbulence within the portal vein, So my fear and my suspicion is whether the imminent thrombosis will happen in this case is there. But this is the bile duct that I'm tracing. This is the union of cystic duct with the bile duct. And this bile duct, I'm now tracing again by rotation, moving right and left knob, and then point of this bifurcation. And I find nothing in the bifurcation. So the only thing is at this point, there are more structures have appeared. I think she may be having cholecystitis and all that, but we don't have time to sort it out right now. So the only thing is we have seen a very, so do we need to really go into the duodenum to demonstrate ampullary stone? And since this is a, I will just take one glance because I am convinced, but I need to be doubly sure. I need to be 100% sure. So I'm putting this stent because this is the only chance she's going to give me. That if my bile duct was dilated, why did not you open me? Why did you not do? So this is the ampulla that I am seeing. The stone has already passed out, but the bile duct is tense. And this bile duct can be, ERCP can be done because I am able to negotiate. Now comes the key point. The key point is I have to demonstrate in this case I have to demonstrate there is no intra-ampullary stone. So I will move my body inside, clockwise rotate it, hold it right and left, and pull it back. Really, I'm trying to keep the pancreatic duct. I don't want to slip out. I don't want to go again and again. And I am looking for the appearance of the pancreatic duct, which will appear here, and the pancreatic duct has appeared. This is the pancreatic duct. And this pancreatic duct will be going towards the bile duct. Right now, once it has moved toward the bile duct, I can afford to relax, and I can afford to relax and I will now put in some water because I am seeing the pancreatic duct. I am seeing approximately the bile duct at this
Ladies
place.
and gentlemen,
Sorry? Anything? Okay. So there was some. So this is the pancreatic duct, but I want to see the bile duct. So I will rotate this way, pancreatic duct, rotate this way, you will see the bile duct, and this is the bile duct I've seen. But what is this is, I am concentrating the time to high zoom again. Bring the focus up, enlarge the size of the box, concentrate on finding whether there is a stone higher up, update it, push in water. Now is the time you push in water and need 150 ml of water because right now at this particular place I am seeing this is the lower end of bile duct and this is the lower end of bile duct. I want to trace it, and this is the lower end of pancreatic duct. This is the lower end of bile duct, and somewhere here is ampulla. But I want to now move my focus even higher up, highest up, and then see if I can release the uplifted knob. Because my knob focus, it has to come within the focus. So I released my knob. I released my upliftment of my knob. Because I'm going too close. I was sort of squeezing against the papilla. I don't want to squeeze the papilla. I want papilla in the focus zone. I want papilla here. Because this is the focus and I want papilla here so that I can trace whether there is a small stone or a speck of stone impacted in it or not. So now what is this? Is this a stone or this is my imagination? I will freeze it. I will measure the size of this structure. Is this a 1.5 millimeter stone and this is my imagination or this is? So I will not call it my imagination. I will call it no. In the circumstances, this is a 1.5 millimeter stone which is impacted at this particular point. This is a hyperechoic spot exactly at the point where the pancreatic duct is ending. Exactly at the point, not in the bile duct is ending, where the pancreatic duct is ending. See, somewhere here or somewhere close to them. Yes, this is or somewhere close to the common channel. It is in the common channel. So I would say this patient has a possibly of 1.5 millimeter stone impacted in the common channel. But again, last point, one more water. The question is to remove it or not to remove it. I have a tense bile duct. Now I will ask the audience, not the audience means, if to do or not to do ERCP, indeterminate case, this way, no stone, not this way. This is the way, rotate it, and so we have to again rotate it, because that was my imagination, or that is now, or that is something, or that is an artifact. So I find, again, when I am rotating this side, I don't find anything confirmatory. I find, so we will leave it at the same time. Is anybody, Miss, are you, Dr. Saj, do you agree with me? No ERCP. Hmm? Okay, this is a 10 CBD, 10 CBD all the way. So, okay, what we will do is we are going to proceed with the ERCP in this case, and we will not demonstrate this. And because this is a 10 CBD, 10 CBD patient has acute pancreatitis. So the stone has passed, or not a stone. So we'll follow up the debate. The debate is, this is the, again we have shown this is the pancreatic duct, this is the bile duct, and this is the tense bile duct, which we have followed all the way to the liver. Hey, just now as I rotated, I found. Yes.
Yeah, there is a stone.
No, this is the division. So I initially thought this was an artifact, but this is the division of CBD into cystic duct and CHD. And even within cystic duct and CHD, I am not finding any stone in either the CHD cystic. This is the cystic duct which is proceeding toward the Barty gallbladder, which has got probably cholecystitis, and this is the CBD which is good. So I will probably I'll evaluate it more, but this is case of pancreatitis plus minus cholecystitis, and I will say I will give it a